In the light of recent events, there are a number of things that need to be said. But I don't want to be somebody who uses a current news event in order to grab attention. So this is what the rules are going to be on this video. I am not going to name any names. And you are not going to name any names either. Comment to your heart's content. But the moment you mention a name, your comment will be removed. As simple as that. No matter how supportive, no matter how compassionate your comment is, if it mentions a name, it's gone. You see, this is something, okay, I've decided to make this video on the back of what happened last week, but it is something that has happened before on a number of occasions. And therefore, this just doesn't just apply to this particular incident. And if we look at what happened, I know that there are a number of people who will be very happy to point the finger and say, oh, there is crazy religion taking its toll. But if we look at similar occurrences in the past, there is a problem, isn't there? Because we know that a number of people who've done similar things in the past were not religious. There was one that I can think of who was an atheist. So what is it then? What is the real underlying reason, or what is the common denominator, for want of a better word, between all these people who ultimately end up doing something like this? Well, here's one thing that is definitely a common factor. All these people have at some stage declared in statements, in videos, or whatnot, that they feel that some other people, typically an out-group of some description, or individuals or whatnot, but that there are people who deserve to come to harm, that deserve to be treated like lesser people, that deserve to have their rights stripped away from them, that deserve to be excluded, that deserve to suffer, that deserve to die. There is no real difference between any of these sentiments. All it is a matter of gradation. Some are a bit more extreme than others. But it all boils down to the same thing. Whether it's based on a religion or on an ideology, that doesn't really matter. And that just doesn't necessarily mean that they sat there saying that people deserve to be killed. It could just be that they said that they deserved to suffer eternally after they die, or that they deserved to be stripped of their rights, that they shouldn't have the same rights in a civil context as other people would have. All such statements are indicators for the sort of mindset that would be open, if put under enough pressure, to doing something like what happened this week. So think about that for a moment. The next time you feel that somebody who sits there and making genuinely hateful statements, no matter how nicely they dress it up, but somebody who says that another person deserves to suffer or to be stripped of their rights or anything like that, when people make statements like that, no matter how they dress it up, you need to be worried. And what's more, we must never, ever sit there silently while somebody makes statements like that. We should stand up and we should oppose it vehemently. And not just that, we should be worried. Because it might sound harmless. It might just sound like a harebrained idea based on a fantasy. But fantasy and reality, sometimes one turns into the other. That's what happened this time. It can happen again. It will happen again. Unless we keep our eyes and ears peeled and we stay very, very wary of people like this. Whenever somebody makes statements like this, we should be afraid. Very afraid.